Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. I'm your host Frank Pereira. You're watching Verdict 2014. Here are the latest headlines. Election Commission says Model Code of Conduct will apply for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, bans its use by parties for political gains. BJP releases poll manifesto for Haryana. Party promises interest-free loans to farmers, food grains at 1 rupee a kilogram and 2,000 rupees as monthly pension for senior citizens. NCP releases election manifesto for Maharashtra, focuses on education, employment, farmers and youth. War of words between Congress and NCP. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar blames former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan for alliance breakup. And ahead of the assembly elections in Maharashtra, watch Rajya Sabha TV special focus on Chandrapur district. Our top focus on the bulletin this evening. Nationalist Congress Party also released its manifesto for Maharashtra today. The party focused on attempting to woo farmers, youth and other sections of the society in its election manifesto for the upcoming assembly polls. The NCP has given special attention to education and employment. In its manifesto, the NCP has promised pension to farm labourers, a child labour-free state in the next 5 years, 2,000 crore rupees for the development of minorities, a separate department for OBC in Mantralaya, hostels and special bus facility for women, free Wi-Fi and digital classrooms. Releasing its manifesto, NCP leader Sunil Tatkare said that since the party is contesting the assembly polls without any alliance, it has put forth the state on a higher growth trajectory.
अन्य सुरक्षा योजनेच्या अंमलबजावणीसाठी दरमहा प्रत्येक कुटुंबास 35 किलो धान्य वाटप, 3 रुपये किलो दराने तांदूळ, 2 रुपये किलोने गहू, 1 रुपया किलोने भरड धान्य, यामधून 7 कोटी नागरिकांना या योजनेचा लाभ देण्याचा प्रयत्न.
Well, a day after Haryana Congress released its manifesto for Maharashtra Assembly elections today, the launch of the poll manifesto took place in Mumbai. Several key Congress leaders like former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan and former Union Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde were present on the occasion. Seeking a mandate without an ally, this time Congress focused more on highlighting its achievements in the last 5 years.
संयुक्त महाराष्ट्र झाला त्यावेळेसपासून यशवंतरावजीपासून तर पृथ्वीराजजी चव्हाण साहेबांच्यापर्यंत सातत्याने या राज्यामधला विकास पुढे नेण्याचं काम आणि या राज्याला सर्व घटकांना मजबूत करण्याचं काम काँग्रेस पक्षाच्या नेतृत्वाने सरकारने सातत्याने केलं. आज जाहीरनामा या ठिकाणी आम्ही समोर ठेवतो. तो जाहीरनामा याची एक कडी आहे.
Our correspondent Rajkamal Rao joins us for more from Maharashtra right now. Rajkamal, interestingly, both parties releasing their manifesto on the same day, the NCP and the Congress, of course. What are the main, points as far as these manifestos are concerned? How are the parties trying to lure the voters of the state?
Frank, it's very clear for NCP. It is after 17 years they are going for polls on their own. So they want to have a pan-Maharashtrian approach on election manifesto. You focus on two crucial issues. One is the 60% farm loan waiver and pension to farmers, because the Pune division and the Nagpur division where NCP is kind of weak, there they want to focus on their broad base, their base into farmers. And look at the things mentioned for OBC categories, hostels for women and special care for women's security and all. So all these are things of NCP manifesto are largely focusing on the pan-Maharashtrian context, because BJP will be issuing their manifesto. They'll be focusing on Wi-Fi and other aspects as well. So last time when Congress and NCP were in alliance, they used to have a combined manifesto where these two political parties used to give a broader picture of the state and their development plan. If you compare the same manifesto with Congress party is clearly banking on the clean image of Prithviraj Chavan, and as well as their projects like Manrega, food security and land acquisition schemes, which were implemented first in Maharashtra. So the Congress manifesto and NCP manifesto, if you go into their detail, they're more or less similar because they have similar ideological backgrounds. But every political party in this time in Maharashtra will try to garner support of every individual in Maharashtra, Frank.
Indeed, of course, and both parties have tried to reach out to as many people as possible with their manifesto. But a word on Vidarbha, Raj, I mean, what are the parties promising in the manifesto as far as Vidarbha is concerned?
Frank, a separate statehood for Vidarbha has been there, and in fact, Rajya Sabha TV has shown Nitin Gadkari and Vilas Baburao Mutemwa signing a document which is like an MOU to assuring those people for a separate statehood. But when we question these politicians, they said it's a job of central government to divide state. There is second state reorganization committee. So separate statehood for Vidarbha is a crucial issue, and infrastructure and employment generation for Vidarbha will be a crucial issue because people have been demanding for better infrastructure. The capital, Mumbai, is 1,000 kilometers away from Nagpur, and Nagpur is the major city in entire 11 districts of Vidarbha. So the 64 constituencies in Vidarbha will have definitive focus on infrastructure, education and employment options. And all these manifestos, whether it is NCP focusing on farmer pensions and Congress focusing on farmer loan waivers, and they have recently implemented one money lending act, they will be focusing on that, especially in Vidarbha region. So it's crucial for farmers and as well as every political party to gain support of these labor class and farmers in Vidarbha region, Frank.
All right, do stay with us, Rajkamal Rao. We'll come back to you later on in the program for your inputs on another story as well. But moving on for the time being now, war of words between the former allies Congress and NCP continues ahead of the assembly polls in Maharashtra. A day after former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan proposed legal actions against Ajit Pawar, NCP chief blamed Chavan for the breakup in alliance. He also claimed that the Congress President Sonia Gandhi was not in favour of a split.
The end of a 15-year-old alliance seems to be quite bitter for the time being for both Congress and NCP. Both parties have been taking potshots at each other in the past few days. Former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan targeted former Deputy CM Ajit Pawar for his alleged involvement in irrigation scam. He said Pawar had wrongly occupied his position in the irrigation department. He also claimed that the coalition government with NCP in Maharashtra did not allow him to clean up the existing system. Ajit Pawar hit back at Chavan after the accusations. He said that NCP should also launch an investigation into some of the decisions taken by former Chief Minister. In a more direct attack, NCP chief Sharad Pawar blamed Chavan for the split in the alliance. He claimed that Congress President Sonia Gandhi was not in favour to call off the ties.
ये आगाज़ी होनी चाहिए, इसमें सबसे पहला कदम मैंने उठाया था। मैं खुद श्रीमती गांधी के घर में जाकर उनको रिक्वेस्ट की थी। उनका समर्थन था, उनकी भूमिका पॉजिटिव थी, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं। समस्या आ गई कि यहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री साहब ने इस बारे में एक बार एनसीपी के साथ मीटिंग करने के बाद अगले 3 दिन इन्होंने हमसे कभी बात नहीं की।
In a sign of how bitter the relations are now between the two sides, NCP has decided to support Congress rebel Vilas Patil Undalkar against Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan from Karat South Assembly constituency. NCP withdrew the name of its own candidate to back Undalkar, who is a 7-time MLA. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on. Now, a day after the Congress released its poll manifesto for Haryana, BJP came out with its own today. The party has promised SOPs for farmers and introduction of several welfare schemes in its manifesto. The BJP will be contesting alone for the first time in the state on October 15th.
BJP has released its poll manifesto for the Haryana Assembly elections this month. The manifesto, released a day after Congress's own, was full of promises for farmers, youth and women. In quite similar lines with the Congress manifesto, BJP too had a lot on offer. It has promised interest-free loans to farmers, food grains at ₹1 per kilo for economically weaker sections, tax-free pilgrimage scheme for senior citizens, ₹2,000 monthly pension for senior citizens and widows, and setting up of a higher court for the state, and job promises for unemployed youth.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सुशासन की स्थापना, एक अच्छा शासन, एक विकास और समृद्धि को समर्पित शासन, एक सुरक्षा के को समर्पित शासन का एक ऐसा मौका है, एक स्वर्णिम मौका है, जिससे कि हरियाणा के लोगों ने मन बनाया हुआ है।
BJP will be looking to end the tenure rule of Congress in Haryana. This is the first time that BJP has decided to go all alone in the assembly elections in the state. The party called off its alliance with Haryana Janhit Congress last month, making its job tougher. Apart from development and good governance, BJP is seeking votes against corruption in the state.
भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त हरियाणा लोकायुक्त की नियुक्ति सरकार बनने के 15 दिन के अंदर करेंगे.
The party will be depending a lot on the image of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to make an impact in these elections. At least 10 rallies of Modi have been lined up in the next 2 weeks. It remains to be seen how effective will be its ploy to seek mandate with Modi as its face in the assembly elections too. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Our correspondent Vishal Daya joins us for more on this story. Vishal, the BJP coming out with its manifesto today, I beg your pardon. Yesterday we saw the Congress come out with a slew of promises in its manifesto, similar promises being made by the BJP today. But is it really enough to lure the voters of Haryana?
Well, that is something which the only voters of the time can tell, Frank. But one thing is pretty much clear out here that, as you pointed out rightly, it's pretty much similar to what Congress came out with. Now, these two documents, that's the Congress's manifesto and BJP's manifesto, hold importance because both are national level parties. One, that's the Congress, which released its manifesto yesterday, is pretty much, has enjoyed the rule of power in the state for almost a decade. They're fighting anti-incumbency, but BJP is now trying to go ahead and grab power in the state on its own. A very ambitious plan of the BJP, I must say, because in the last 2.5 or more decades, since time BJP has been contesting elections in the state, there have been only 2 times when BJP has been able to manage a double-digit figure in Haryana, and that was way back in 1987 and 96. Otherwise, this party has been, confined to a single-digit number in Haryana Assembly. Now, with all tall promises which have been made in the BJP manifesto, one thing which is quite clear and quite simple out here is that BJP is simply trying to take on the Congress on 2 main important planks and trying to, take away that developmental agenda which Congress is trying to fight the elections on. That's why we see a number of promises which talk about giving jobs to the youth or, creating infrastructure in terms of education and health sector. But apart from that, corruption is again another very important issue. That is a charge which BJP has been time and again making against the Congress government in the state, and that is something which has figured prominently in BJP's manifesto. And as it is rightly pointed out in the report as well, apart from the manifesto and apart from its local leaders, most of all, BJP's fortunes will depend upon Narendra Modi and his campaign in the state.
Indeed, Narendra Modi is going to be the star campaigner as far as the BJP in Haryana and both Maharashtra are concerned. But Vishal, you've been touring the length and breadth of the state. What are the real issues there on the ground? Is it limited to what the manifestos are talking about, pensions and a high court in Haryana and things like that, or is it really something else?
Well, Frank, as far as promises such as establishment of a separate high court for Haryana and the SYL canal issue, that Satluj Yamuna link that particular issue, those are long-standing issues. Those are not the issues which have cropped up in this particular election. They can be termed as old as the issues of Sadak, Bijli and Pani. That's water, electricity and roads. But then apart from that, if you go from constituency to constituency or district-wise, if you have a look deeper inside the constituencies, both parties, the Congress and the BJP, national parties as well as the regional parties such as INLD and Haryana Janat Congress, all the major players in Haryana are talking about development. While Congress is claiming that they have gone ahead and created infrastructure in the state in the last 9.5 years, a certain claim has been made by the INLD as well. BJP and Haryana Janat Congress say that given a chance, they will further boost the development in the state. But basic amenities such as infrastructure for education, nice buildings, operational buildings for the government schools at the block level, at the village level. There are certain places such as if you take the case of Sonipat district headquarters as well, there is not even a single government college in that particular district headquarters. That's just 60 kilometers away from the national capital. There are several other areas in other parts of the state as well. The place where I am right now, that's Jean district, which has 5 assembly constituencies. There are severe lacunas as far as infrastructure for health facilities are concerned. So obviously,
Right.
local basic infrastructure for basic amenities at local level is one of the issues which is a major cause of concern for the people. Another is obviously for the youth. And now it is the issue is about creation of job opportunities.
Indeed.
Opposition parties are blaming Congress for a lopsided development in the state. Congress says no, that's not the case. Development has been very much even. Job opportunities have been very much even in the state. So all these are the issues on which all these major political players in the state, be it the regional political parties or these two national parties, they are trying to go ahead and woo the voters. What will really make a difference is as to what exactly touches the chord with the voter at the local level. And obviously, let's not forget, this is an assembly election. So obviously, the candidates, the local candidates,
Indeed,
those
of
people
course.
who are fighting
Local
elections on
candidates
party
and
tickets,
what
they will matter
chord will
much more
touch the
than what
people at
symbol
the
would
lowest
matter.
level is what's going to matter. Thank you so much, Vishal Daya, for joining us there with those inputs and bringing us up to date with what's happening in Haryana. Now, of course, for all the other election-related news and updates, here's a quick roundup in Polpuri. The Election Commission on Thursday directed parties not to use the Swachh Bharat mission to promote their electoral interests. Accordingly, the Haryana government, led by its Chief Minister and ministers, will not highlight it as part of their political campaigning. Election Commission officials have been told to ensure that no political content is mixed with campaign speeches to influence voters. The full Election Commission will visit Haryana on the 4th of October to review arrangements for the 15th October Assembly polls. The poll watchdog will also hold meetings with parties in Haryana that day. The full commission, comprising the Chief Election Commissioner and 2 election commissioners, will also hold meetings with the Chief Secretary, the DGP, Home Secretary, Income Tax Commissioner and Excise Department officers and police officials. The Election Commission has released new guidelines making it mandatory for political parties to deposit their funds in banks. The guidelines also mention that parties must not exceed the ceiling limits in providing financial assistance to candidates. The treasurer of a political party will be required to ensure that accounts are maintained at all the state and lower levels and consolidated accounts at the central party headquarters. Chartered accountants will audit the annual accounts as required under the Income Tax Act. Well, it's time for a short break now, but on the other side, much more from Maharashtra and Haryana. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Our correspondent Vishal Dahiya spoke to a prominent figure of Haryana politics, HJC Chief Kuldeep Bishnoi, on the party's promises and the assembly elections. Bishnoi spoke of past and present alliances and their expected impact on the results. Let's listen into what he had to say.
The stage is set for assembly elections in Haryana, and we are now joined by one of the tall regional players out here, a significant political leader in the politics of Haryana. That's the president of Haryana Janhit Congress Bhajan Lal faction. That's Kuldeep Bishnoi. What exactly are the issues this time around?
No, the issues are very, very serious ones, like the issue of disparity, discrimination among jobs, development, and law and order is a very big issue. And we have issue of water, we have issue of power. SYL is a very, very big issue.
One very interesting point which I found out is you saying that there will be a 21% reservation for women.
I want the women to participate, and I want that with the 21% reserve. So if I give a very, very big number, then officers and people will not be like, very enthusiastic to do it.
You had a very unsuccessful, or rather to say, a very bumpy alliance with the BJP for 3 years.
Actually, BJP, I personally feel that from day one, they had this plan of using and throwing kind of a thing, which they have been doing with Chaudhry Devilal ji, Bansilal ji, Chautala ji, and the same thing they did with me. That's why I did a documentary alliance with them, because I knew their mindset. And it was a big game plan, and I fell in their trap.
Why have an alliance with a party led by Vinod Sharma, a man with a controversial image?
No, I don't think he's got a controversial image, because if something bad has been done somebody in the family, it doesn't mean that he's done something bad. But as a person, he's very, very good, a very good human being, and he also is he holds a very good image among especially the Brahmin community. And he's a very seasoned politician, very old politician, very popular among the people of Chandigarh, Haryana, and Punjab, this kind of the northern region. So it has benefited me a lot, and to him also.
Are there options open in a post-poll scenario, because there are too many players in the political field this time around in Haryana, it seems highly unlikely that any party or any alliance will get a clear majority.
I think I've successfully successful in educating people in electing an honest chief minister. So I personally feel that we are going to get a clean majority ourselves, and if somebody wants to come and join us later on, from outside support, we will welcome them.
Okay, so you're not willing to disclose as of now as to what might happen. So clearly, what is seen out here is that Kuldeep Bishnoi, having worked really hard, is in no mood to go ahead and consider that point that there might be a possibility of a post-poll alliance. But yes, as in politics, all options are open. With camera person Junaid, Vishal Daya, Rajya Sabha TV, Hisar.
Well, you can watch the detailed report with Kuldeep Bishnoi in our special show Campaign Trail on Saturday on the 4th of October as our correspondent travels with him through the lanes of Haryana. Moving on now, once considered an employment generation hub, Chandrapur district of Maharashtra is fast losing that tag. More than 200 small-scale industries in Chandrapur's industrial corridor are on the verge of closing down, leading to a major dearth of jobs. And the problem is that of power, an issue the next government will have to address at the earliest.
Known as the Black Gold City of India, Chandrapur was, until recently, the hub of employment generation for the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. But that has now changed. More than 30 small-scale manufacturing units in the area have closed down, while close to 200 units in the Maharashtra Industrial Development Corridor are on the verge of closure. And the reason for this is a simple bureaucratic failure. A power purchase agreement, which is mandatory for factories to purchase power from power plants, is yet to be signed by the Maharashtra government. Small industry owners allege a government bias towards bigger industries.
There was a lot of pollution, and that pollution was because of the existing units, that like thermal power station and WCL. So whatever is being done by the existing units. As against that, the new units which are having latest technology, like the ones who are having their units in Tadali growth center, they are having good power. So minimum pollution will be there. Even then, there is not a basic power purchase agreement with them.
The Chandrapur is the Adivasi and backward area, also a Nassal affected area. Because of the minerals, giant industries are established like cement plants, 5 cement plants in our area. And these industries, they are taking advantage of fly ash and minerals, but they are not encouraging the small scale industry and medium scale industry.
In case the government signs the purchase agreement, it will have to provide power to these units at cheaper rates. That's probably the reason for the delay.
छोटे यूनिटों को क्या हो रहा है कि ये कोयले का सप्लाई नहीं हो रहा है, मेन तो वो पूरा कोल पे डिपेंड है. वहाँ समझो ब्रिक्स की फैक्ट्री होगी या फिर MIDC में जनरल फैक्ट्रियाँ कौन थे, बहुत कम फैक्ट्री रह गया है, क्योंकि MIDC उस समय जब हुआ था जब बहुत से लोगों ने पल्वराइजर का प्लांट डाला था जिससे कोयला लोग बिक सके. लेकिन क्या हो गया कि बाद में कोयले के परमिट ही बंद हो गए, तो उनके फैक्ट्री वैसे ही बंद हो गया. वो लोग सिर्फ कोयला बेच के इनकम करना चाहते थे, प्रोडक्शन नहीं.
In addition to the bureaucratic hurdles, environment-related issues are another problem. Thermal power plants produce fly ash, a byproduct which is used by cement industries in the region. But a directive by the National Green Tribunal has forced 30 fly ash industries to shut shop.
Small-scale industries are the backbone of economy in Chandrapur district. But all these industries are now caught between a battle between state government and central environment regulator. Employment has been a serious hit. With camera person Shivakumar, Rajkamal Rao, Rajya Sabha TV.
Our correspondent Rajkamal Rao is still with us right now from Maharashtra. Let's go to him now and get a word on Chandrapur. Of course, the people of Chandrapur, Raj, are certainly seem to be in a difficult position at this point in time. And, you know, they're caught between what really is happening with the central government and the state government. And they don't really have an option at the moment. But what is it that they're looking forward to as far as these assembly elections are concerned?
See, they want a very good governance model where they can easily have a power purchase agreement. I'll put it in very simple terms. Every power plant will have to go for an agreement to provide cheaper power at cheaper prices to these small scale units because they cannot afford power at bigger prices. That is one aspect. And there is another aspect. This industrial corridor is built on the principle of products and byproducts. One company's product will be the product or byproduct of other company. So it's a chain of companies connected in an industrial area. Hence, the environment pollution is evident. Government's challenge is to reduce the environment and pollution and give scope for these small-scale industries to grow, which has not been happening. So that is what these people are demanding. Provide a framework where environment-viable companies can survive and generate employment. So this has been a political issue in Lok Sabha elections as well because it affects 2 lakh students who are coming out of several colleges in Vidarbha region, Frank.
All right, Rajkamal Rao, thank you so much for joining us there with those details and bringing us up to date with what's happening in that particular district. On that note, we'll call it a wrap on this edition of Verdict 2014. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for much more on the other side of this short break.